We're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Stardust RPG Into the Vast. I am William, and I am your game master for this sci-fi science fantasy 5th edition campaign of my own devising. And joining me today, we have Sam.
I am Sam. I play Herschel, a bit of a scientist these days. Not much call for alchemy out in the vast.
And John.
I'm John, and I'm playing Dorak, the human chronology wizard who does magic science.
And Andrew.
Hello, I'm Andrew, and I'll be playing Mark Seven, the Warforged Buccaneer captain who has no mind for science.
But
Or
your
magic.
mind is science and magic.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I know how to use them.
Or even how to use your mind.
Exactly.
Damn.
And Cody will be joining us shortly. He is on his way, but is not here at the moment. And when last we left off, you had a space battle.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And you won that space battle against
Skin of our
space
teeth.
zombie pirates.
Against all the space odds.
After ramming the ship as a final fuck you to deal the finishing blow. Well, almost. I think someone had to cast a spell right after the ramming.
Yeah, Durak lightning bolted down the hallway.
Yeah.
I introduced them to electricity. It had been a while.
After ramming the ship and finishing it off with a lightning bolt, the captain of the ship managed to escape by using some form of magic item that he had been wearing about his neck that caused him to teleport away as his ship was being destroyed.
Yeah,
But
you say
he
managed to, like, it was a close call. He flourished his cape like an anime villain. It was not he was very much in control of him vanishing.
he definitely locked eyes with the cockpit and just sort of made the group aware that he knew of their existence at this point.
Yes, he to be clear, he made the ship aware that he knew of its existence, because I feel like he probably couldn't see us.
You don't know that. But the
Curse you, ship that stopped us from being piratical. We will pirate you again later.
but this captain who actually I believe declared his name to you.
Captain Grim's
No,
Yes,
Cardon
Captain
identified him.
Captain Grimskull.
Cardon
No, it was Cardon did not identify him. Or did
Really?
he? I don't
No, Cardon
Um,
Cardon identified him. He didn't identify that he had worked with him, but he identified him.
it's not his captain, it's his
No.
ship.
Yeah, it's his ship. He identified the ship.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Captain Grimskull declared himself. Cardon remembered who that name was, but
We'll go with that.
yeah, he declared himself. Oh no, that's right. You found it in a log.
It's true. We went. Me and Carter went over to the thing, and I downloaded all his computer onto my USB drive.
That's it. You found his name on a log.
Yeah, that he just took command of the ship, and Kardash's old captain went on to pilot a huge, like, what was it, a dreadnought or something like that.
Presumably.
Some bigger ship in Queen Nyx's pirate fleet.
Mm-hmm. Which implies that Cardon's old captain, who was alive when last Cardon saw them, is now an undead.
Or at least working for them.
You don't typically work for the Necros pirates without also being undead yourself.
Who knows? Maybe there's an exception.
Is that alivist? Were you prejudiced against people who are dead or alive?
I mean, prejudiced. Just use that.
Not as
I feel like there probably is a
There's gotta
prejudice
be a
term
term.
for prejudice against the undead, and thus reversely against the living.
I have
Um,
Googled it, and it
Against the
autocompleted
living
prejudiced
or the
against
living
dead
impaired?
animals.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that? What was that, Andrew?
You could be prejudiced against the living or against the living impaired.
Yeah. What did the Google search turn up for you, Sam?
It autocompleted to against dead animals. So someone's prejudiced against dead animals enough for it to autocomplete. I don't know. All I'm getting is ageism. So, sorry, no.
But the need to figure out what that prejudice term would be later. Um, the group has reconvened with the patient will and continued on their way to Invara. You've got another 3.5 days before you arrive.
I would definitely like. I would definitely like to be talking with Wrenches and seeing if I can get brought up to speed on how to run the engineering substation.
All right. Roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Can do quite easily because I will definitely not click the intelligence thing that's not that.
Very nice. Let me roll 4 wrenches.
Because I was not much use in the last combat because in a combat situation, I took a look at all the lights and panels and it was just kind of fun blinking, you know?
Same.
Ooh. Das Blinken Light is nicked for the finger poking. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're going to leave marks on the screen.
See, this is what I need to know.
Sailing the astral flow. Let me pull this up. So 3 days isn't going to be enough to get you fully proficient in the use of the engineering subsystem. However, with your intelligence save, it will be enough to get you halfway there. So you'll get basically jack of all trades in the subsystem, which means in any check that requires it, you can add half your proficiency bonus, and also you get access to one of the subsystem abilities at the moment until you fully learn the subsystem. So for engineering, you will get access to you'll get access to more power.
All right. More power. That will help.
Question.
Yes, as your mic chops for some reason.
I don't know why it does, but my microphone should be perfectly fine. So, no, my question is, so with the because I don't know if it was if I just didn't type it correctly or if it wasn't included. No, it wasn't included. How many times per day? Like the Yorheimer it has the ability that I can ask it questions as if the augury spell. A number of times equal to my proficiency modifier. It doesn't specify if that's per long rest or just ever.
Long rest.
Long rest. Okay, cool. So I would like to ask my book a few questions over the course of the next few days, as we're on the way.
Okay.
Specifically, I am trying to as to the terms of the augury, which is to say, it's basically asking a yes or no question, and I ask a question and I get good chance, bad chance, no, or middling chance, basically. I want to know if there are, because we're heading to Severnus, or sorry, we're heading to Invarna, or
Yeah.
going to Morak?
In Vara.
Right.
You were leaving. A ship was leaving Morak, headed for Invara.
Headed for Invara, and then we're going to Zaref.
Yes.
What are we doing in Zaref?
Picking up your...
Well, no, you're heading to a planet near Zaref, because the trolls have discovered what appears to be precursor tech on a nearby planet.
Okay, and we're escorting the ship to Invara.
Mhm.
So first, I want to ask. So I basically get 3 questions a day at the moment.
Yeah.
So on the first day, I want to ask, are there any more items missing from the armory of Dahl?
I don't know what you would consider wheel and woe for that.
I mean,
Because something missing from the armory seems like a bad thing, but to answer the question, yes, I don't know.
well, I guess let me look at Augury real quick again just to make sure I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yes and no questions kind of...
Augury. Good result, bad result. Nothing. I guess actually no, it's about you have to ask about a specific course of action, right?
Yeah.
Will exploring the ruins. Will exploring the precursor ruins lead to more artifacts from the armory of Dahl? The precursor ruins on Zaref.
Or near them.
Near
Yeah.
Zara.
Yeah, near Zaref.
You get wheel out of that.
Okay, which confirms the answer that yes, there are more things missing. Will we run into that? Will we run into members of that pirate fleet on the way to Zaref?
Again, a yes or no question is difficult to answer because what's the bad?
Sorry, I guess. Sorry. Well, no, I guess that in that case it would be there's a good chance or there's a bad. No, I guess that's.
Should we continue?
Like not running into pirates, what I would consider to be the good result. But if I said good result, you could take that as a yes.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's about a course of action. Like, should we continue to plan for pirates on our trip?
Yeah. Should we continue to be prepared for pirates on our to attack us on the way to Zaref?
You get nothing.
Okay, so no more than usual. I can't think of anything else to ask, so that'll be like the two questions I ask on the first day, and then I will go around to the others. So the Johanna, I say indicating the tome that I'm carrying, is a particularly ancient tome that has the capacity to provide some level of divinistic fortune telling. And I wanted to put it out to the others, or to the rest of you, that if you had any particularly relevant questions you might want to know about the future, I could put it to the book and provide some level of result if any of you had something that you thought might be relevant to ask.
Ask a question of the Magic 8 book.
Yeah.
Signs point to yes.
High haze.
So I do put that information out to the two of you, plus the others that are currently NPCs.
Okay, I'm just double checking my notes.
And of course, I will warn you that the cumulative chance of getting bad answers does still exist for the book.
Okay, cool.
If you ask more than 2 times at a long rest.
Yeah. I can save the questions for tomorrow, but I want to see if anyone else has questions because I don't have any more.
No, I don't have any questions.
Yes, I can't think of anything myself.
All right. Well, just bear in mind if there ever becomes a situation where we might want to get a little bit of divination on the subject, I do have some capability there now. But otherwise, I suppose we should enjoy the rest of our trip.
That's your first day. Anyone have anything they need to accomplish on the second day, other than Herschel keeps training?
Oh yeah, gotta keep training.
I will poke around at the defensive systems and see if, or actually, I'll poke around at the weapon systems and see if I can learn how they work.
Roll me an intelligence saving throw. I believe Cardon offered to teach anyone who wanted to know, so.
Yeah. Wow. I'm going to use my chronal shift on that. Because I'm within 30 feet of myself.
Emotionally?
There we go. That's better.
Okay. Excellent.
It feels in character.
You know what? Cody's here, so I'm gonna let him roll that because I don't want to roll a natural one for him.
Is Cody here?
Yeah.
Because Cody posted it in 40K and then deleted it.
Yeah, I didn't know if anybody was paying attention there.
Yeah, welcome to the stream.
Cody, because I just rolled like crap for you, but now you're here. Roll me a performance check to try and teach Durak how to operate the guns.
Okay, I can do that with style.
Yes! Yes!
Was meant to be.
Oh, brilliant.
Ordained by fate.
That is absolute perfection. Natural 20 without the 0.
I like to think that I learned the skills by doing the opposite of what Cardon indicates.
Well, he can get you like the basic understanding. Like the thing is, Cardon mostly knows how to shoot these guns by practice and rote rather than by actual like book learning of how to plot a firing solution. So he's able to get you like the basic mechanics of how to fire the guns, which is not unuseful. But you're mostly learning by dint of analysis and sort of analyzing what these guns are capable of and figuring out what they can do. Similarly to Herschel, you're not going to be able to master the weapon subsystem, but you will get Jack of all trades, so you can add half your proficiency to any starfaring weapon attacks you make, and also in the weapon subsystem you can...
Sure, yeah, you can read the book, but what's the point?
Yeah, you can
Book's not
going to
teach you how to shoot.
You can't take the aim bonus action yet until you master the weapon subsystem, but you can take the fire action.
While that is true, Cardon, I noticed that you didn't hit anything you shot at, so...
You know what? You sit in the seat and we'll see how it goes. You know, it's not all it's easy. It's easy when we're just flying through space, but when shit's about to hit the fan.
Also, Cody, because you had not yet hopped in. I revealed that my book has divination powers, and if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask it, let me know.
Right. Keep that in mind.
Because I've run out of questions to ask it, and I felt like other people might have something, but apparently no one does.
Not right now, but like what kind of divination?
I can cast Augury in 3 times a day from it.
Oh, okay.
Which I've already
For
done.
now.
For now, which I've already done and determined that. I should also share. Through my divination attempts, I've determined that there is indeed more aspects of the Armory of Dole that has been removed from our treasury. For what purpose I've not yet gleaned, but there's a good chance that some of it will be locatable in the precursor ruins near Zareth. So we should keep an eye out.
I have to wonder why they would be there.
Well, I imagine that the majority of them are precursor artifacts in the first place. While it certainly is a question as to why they're in the ruins, perhaps there's some sort of retrieval protocol or something in place.
Yeah, this was in that armory, wasn't it? And I pull out Veer thing.
Yes, fair thing.
How? All right. Keep an eye out for ancient shiny weapons.
Yes, Werthing and Jorheimer. The two that are in our possession at the moment that were a part of the armory.
I'll give you this augury for free. You get wheel for explaining to your party what the rest of them are.
Oh. Well, in addition to the two things that we might want to look out for, there's Gungnir, which is a spear of power. There's Stormhjal, a longbow. Hregarther?
Hey, Gartha, yes.
Hregarther, a suit of armor. Grimskalm, a blade. Guthbrander and Vilbrander, pair of long swords that are related in some fashion, though I've never studied them for extended periods of time myself. Grunskipta, a maul. Sisgarther, another set of armor. Umhukson, a shield. Yafnather. No, I have not studied the blade. Yafnather, a great sword. Aether Hjalmar, a crown, which would be specifically it'd be the crown of Dole, the crown of my kingdom. I cannot pronounce this one, William.
Trimjetrepa.
That one. It's a precursor rifle. Verthing, which we already have, Jortheimer, and I can't pronounce this one either.
Josgartha.
That one. Another suit of armor.
Right. Armor, guns, blades, bows, and a crown.
There's the
thank
handout.
God there's a list.
Yes, a spear, a longbow, and several suits of armor. Some short swords, some long swords, a maul, a shield, a great sword, a crown, a rifle, a pistol book, and etc.
There was one more, and you couldn't say that.
I had already included the armor with the other armors. Yes, things to keep an eye out for as we travel, since I'm going to be under the assumption that most, if not all of it, has been absconded from the armory.
would I be right in thinking that, as the two we have previously acquired, the rest of the armory will be in ruined states?
It's possible. I have no idea. I had no understanding of why they were in those states in the first place, or how they got to the locations where we found them. My assumption is that there's either some sort of safety mechanism on the armory that jettisoned the relics so that they would not fall into enemy hands upon the time lock that was placed on the kingdom, or that whoever locked the kingdom in the first place made off with them, and for some reason decided to scatter them to the four winds.
It puts your kingdom at, if these are as powerful as you say, bit of a disadvantage
Well,
losing them.
I mean, the kingdom is currently locked in time, which I feel like is as much of a disadvantage as you can get at the moment. But yes, they mostly served as a promise of power rather than one readily used. It does indeed hinder the ability of a kingdom based on magical prowess and mediation to have lost the tools by which that mediation was enforced. Though, between the two issues, I feel like one is more severe.
And to remind me, was Dahl a majocratic nation within the Republic of Kingdoms, or was it actually a kingdom within the Majocracy?
So Grotara is within the Republic of Kingdoms. Within Grotara, there are a number of kingdoms.
Mhm.
So it's like the planet would operate within the Republic of Kingdoms. The planet would sort of be a union of kingdoms to represent itself on the galactic scale.
Mhm.
And would actually probably be led by like on the galactic scale, the planet would most likely be led by Vauclane.
Wait, by galactic scale, do you mean they're separate from the Republic of Kingdoms?
No, they are
But it's
within
a republic. They have representatives.
yeah.
Okay.
They are within the Republic of King. They are within
Well,
the Republic of Kingdoms.
all right. I just wouldn't call that galactic scale as all.
It's like Naboo having a queen, but also being part of the Senate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the Gungans have their own leader, but are still
Yeah.
part of Naboo, which is still represented by the Senate. And it's a galactic scale in that it involves more than one planet, which is explicitly a galactic scale. But yeah, like locally, so locally, Grotara has 6 dominant kingdoms amongst the land itself, with lesser duchies and baronies. Those 6 kingdoms represent the planet to the Republic of Kingdoms. Though of that 6, I imagine the leader of the 6 would probably be the Technarchy of Vauclane. Dahl is mostly an internal mediator. Like, amongst the 6, Dahl would be the mediator rather than towards the galaxy at large.
Makes sense. All right. Anything special that needs to be done over the final day and a half before you arrive on Invara?
Any free time I don't spend learning engineering, I'm going to be poring over more of that computer stuff I pulled off of the pirate ship. See if there's anything more there.
You are also very quiet for some reason.
Am I?
Yeah, everybody's been quiet for me, so I thought it was something on my
Sam's
end.
the
But...
quietest to me.
And John comes in blasting my eardrums.
I haven't. I've changed nothing.
I know it's on my end.
Input volume all the way up. Let's see if that did anything.
Yeah,
Doubt it.
louder now.
9% louder.
I mean, louder is louder.
But anyway. So pouring over a little bit more of that information, it's not a lot that is there, mostly because the ship was already in shambles by the time that this crew had it, so there
Yep.
wasn't a whole lot of use in storing too much on the computer system. But what you do get was that you do get their task, what they were scheduled for,
Ooh.
which was they were told to, like, their particular assigned task was to hijack a specific item that was intended to be bound for Invara that is simply being called the Dead Reader.
The Dead Reader?
Yeah.
Is just the name of it's there, no kind of indication on what it could be or what it like physically might look like?
No, you imagine that the captain had been personally debriefed about what he was looking for, and this is just his
Okay.
note about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, note to self, get Dead Reader. Got it.
Yeah. And then after he had retrieved it, he was supposed to join the assault on Nocturna.
Oh, so possibly it's something that would help the assault on Nocturna. I did write down their name over there. What's his name? Morak Card. Who's the Kardash in charge of the other ship?
Uh,
I wrote it down. I swear I did.
That is a Captain Vorak.
Yes, Captain
Is it
Vorak.
Vorak? I'd like to hail Captain Vorak and ask him, do you know what a Dead Reader is?
Make me a persuasion check real quick.
Sure. Happy to do that. Definitely really good at persuasion, and this won't be a problem. You like a 16?
Against all odds.
Hey. Okay.
Seductively rustle my leaves.
There's a pause on the line as Vorak kind of contemplates answering you for a minute, and then it's not a what, but rather a who.
A who? Well, who is the Dead Reader?
The Dead Reader is a passenger aboard this ship. He is, well, they are a unique individual who can speak to the Necros virus on a individual cybernetic level and manipulate the virus itself.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. Doctor, did you hear that? As I call him.
Doctor, who is currently an NPC.
Apparently.
Smash cut to Dr. Vida in the makeshift lab, comes off, working hard.
Twiddling the knobs on his chest like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Draws a smiley face on the helmet.
Okay. Well, have they tried to make this passage before, or is this the first time?
when one of our supply ships was assaulted, the dead reader was assumed to be one of the primary targets for a pirate assault. There's very little that the undead can do with food and medicine supplies.
Right.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, assume no longer, because I've pulled their hard drive and they're definitely interested.
indeed,
What
then it's
what's
all
the
the
dead reader
more
doing on Invara?
speaking with the master of the temple there. At least that is supposedly his intent. He had some form of they had some form of task to perform, and they needed the assistance of the temple leader of Invara for whatever their purpose was. It is not my place to question.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll put our name out there. If they need help, we're available. You know the kind of work we can do.
I understand. I will recommend you should the Dead Reader require adventurers for their task.
I appreciate that. All right. See you on planet. I'll end transmission.
I'm standing behind Herschel, trying to see if there's a squirrel in the tree branches. Because they were
You
rustling
can't
earlier
tell.
because they were rustling earlier for no reason. So I'm trying to see what was causing the rustle.
You can't tell. There might be something's moving in there. You're not sure what's going on.
Herschel, do you have a squirrel in your branches?
I'm sorry. A what?
A squirrel.
What's that?
It's a small rodent, likes to live in trees and eat nuts.
Ah, contrary to popular belief, I am not bearing nuts. So
That's what's not. That's neither here nor there, truly. So your branches were rustling as if something were in them.
I mean, your hair moves all the time. You don't see me complaining about it.
Yes, but my hair
Do you
is
have bugs in your hair?
no, but my hair's a good
Are
deal
there bugs in
less.
there?
No.
You know what bugs are,
Yes,
right? They crawl around
I'm
and
aware
they.
of bugs. Yes. No, my hair's a good deal less thick than your branches, though. So I was just curious.
Well, you know how to pay a compliment, huh?
Yes, I try. I'm just gonna.
There may or may not be a squirrel. He's definitely not going to say though.
This is the best, most awkward conversation.
Yeah, Cardon is definitely watching this back and forth, and then just
I'm still looking for that squirrel because I saw. I heard the branches rustle.
I'm gonna let you two resolve that.
I mean, there's nothing to resolve. It's literally just a response to Sam going, "I rustle my branches seductively."
Yeah, no, I'm trying to look up something here. No, it'll have to wait.
But nonetheless,
Yeah, sure.
the rest of the day passes, I'm assuming, unless someone has something vitally important.
When would I have anything vitally important?
So I've learned.
oh, what was it? There was a system that, oh wait, no, never mind. We don't even have that system installed, so
Yeah, I know, right?
never mind.
Yes, we do need to acquire. At some point, we need to acquire some form of magical enhancement for the ships that I might be effective in combat.
We may require the capacity to enhance our ship's power and integrity before we can install additional subsystems.
It seems like there's a series of things we'll need to upgrade then.
Did we We didn't. Oh, dang. We moved on before we got a chance to scrap that ship, huh?
Yes.
Yes, because
There
there
wa-
were still occupants on the ship.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it wasn't flying around anymore.
No, but there were
Mm,
people on it.
Yes.
And people is a strong word. Oh no, am I prejudiced? Oh
That's
no.
certainly what it sounded like, yes.
Yeah, well, we'll rip the engines off the next one.
Herschel the racist tree.
It's not racism. We went over this. It's alivist.
Would you call it vitalism?
Oh, I like that. Well, okay, I like the word. I don't like the actual concept of it. Let's just be clear.
Herschel the vitalist tree.
That's sort of like the similar transition from like ableism as being like a prejudice towards those who are disabled. So vitalism being a prejudice towards those who are unvital or undead or unliving.
That works. Gonna write that down. Poor me in 2 weeks. These notes are a mess. Cody.
Yeah.
I have the number 5,000 written down in my notes with no other context. Was that the amount of gold you picked up from the pirate ship?
Yeah.
Did we
No,
distribute that?
1700. It was 1700 gold pieces
Oh right.
and cred sticks and chips
Okay. Thank you.
that I'm now realizing I didn't add to my character sheet, but I also had it written down, so that's a good thing.
Hey.
So we still don't know where the 5,000.
So we could divide that up. Nope.
A mystery lost to
What
tell.
was that? 1760?
1700 flat.
17 flat. Can't blame me for trying.
I mean, we can.
You cannot blame me for trying.
Absolutely, we can. Doing it right now.
$4.29.
Oh, damn. 5 off.
It's fourth. I have a thing for 4,000, but that's for the Damascus
Oh.
game.
I think I know what the 5,000 was. I think that was the amount of money we got for completing that one thing for the dude in the shop that has entrances from everywhere to the same shop.
Yeah.
Cool. We arrive on Invar.
Yes. So, as the ship comes out of FTL and begins its descent towards the Invaran space docks.
Are we docking on planet or are we docking in space?
The patient will is heading for planetary docking. What you do is up to you.
We're still attached to the patient will, so I'm assuming we're going with it.
Can
I
we
imagine
survive?
that's
Yeah, so you're gonna want to detach before you get into the planet's gravity, unless you
Yeah,
want a
I
ship
imagine-
sandwich.
I imagine we would detach and make our way to our own docking station. Planet
Yeah.
side.
I'm gonna be up in the bridge, watching our approach.
What else will be up on
and-
the bridge?
You get a hail that just says Studious Vanguard, you are cleared for docking, and they give you a dock number.
Acknowledge docking control.
So you bring the ship in. Slight rumble of planetary entry. Envara has a thick atmosphere. So you get a little bit more re-entry turbulence than you would on a more like
Yes.
Earth-like planet.
Thick with 2Ks.
Huh.
Why the Ks?
Because the
I don't know what the
Kardash.
Ks do. Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Presumably a K is thicker than a C, so.
so you arrive on planet and dock, and you have free run of the. You have an open docking platform. The as you get a view of the planet heading down, most of Invara is water. In fact, most of the actual landing platforms on the planet are artificial.
Is it salt or freshwater?
Mostly freshwater. It's a freshwater planet.
Okay.
There might be some salt in like very deep pockets, but it's like it's either very self-contained or so diffuse as to not affect the planet as a whole.
Yeah. Have you those deep, cold salinity rivers are insane.
Yeah. But yeah, think like Manon from Star Wars. If you've like played Knights of the Old
Yeah.
Republic, it's
Yeah.
almost entirely water except for some platforms that have been built out of the ocean, and like a
Nice.
handful of island chains that exist.
Seems like an interesting place for your people to create a colony, Cardon.
Big swimmers?
Fun fact: the Kardash did not create the colony.
Yep, that's what didn't actually colonize this planet.
This is not a Cardon colony.
It is not. It is the home to a monastery, among other things. But
Hmm.
Kardash as a whole did not. You could see rocks. Well, we can swim, but dense, heavy rock-like people. Lots of deep water.
Yes, that's why I said it was a curious choice. But if it's not actually, sorry, I was under the impression that we were escorting a colony resupply ship, but I guess that's not correct then.
Well, it is a colony resupply ship, just not a Kardash colony.
That's fair.
Whose colony is this?
Yes, whose colony is this?
The colony was actually founded by the monastery.
It tells me nothing.
The monastery famous for being Kardash?
Nope, multi.
Oh, right. This is the multi-ethnic colony.
Correct.
Well,
Multi-species.
thank you.
I mean, there are ethnicities within the species, presumably. So it's not an incorrect statement, just not an accurate one.
Yes.
So the primary landing dock on the island or on the planet, and with several island chains around, but the primary planetary starport is on a place that is known as the Edifice of Repose.
Ooh.
Well, shall we go meet the captain and get our pay?
Yes. Do we get paid with? When do we get paid? I guess.
Now, I would presume, and then we get to head on to our next destination.
Well, hang on. We might have a little bit more work here. There was the matter of the dead reader.
Yes.
Kind of sounds like the sort of thing we'd be interested in.
Is it?
Presumably.
Why?
They can manipulate the Necros virus.
Yes, but
we're already here. We just do one more job and then take off.
Well,
If there is a job to be had.
A, if there's a job. B, yes, it's not. They're already here though, so I'm not certain what else they might need us to do.
Oh, right. You were. I had the phone call. The captain said that they had some task to do set by the monastery. Do you know what that might be, Cardon?
I don't think.
Do I?
Aren't you a monk? Like, didn't you come from? I thought this was your monastery. Is this not?
It it is, yes.
Okay.
But
That's
it's
fine.
been a few years since I've been back.
Oh, this is the monastery that you trained at.
Yeah,
That's a coincidence, isn't it?
a little bit.
The first thing that comes to mind is for reasons that you would bring someone who can communicate with the Necros virus onto Invara is the number one reason is the Grand Maven is undead. So if it has something to do with them, potentially.
That's I had forgotten about that. I didn't meet them very much. I don't know exactly why they might, but I'm sure there's a good enough reason.
Sure. Well, we can hear all about it when we're getting paid.
Yes, I feel like that's the principal source of our objective here.
So, separate Star docks. We got to take a boat over, or are we like walking on docks, or what are we doing?
First, we'll have to get off the ship, and then we'll learn that. I head to the cargo bay.
You depart the ship,
Yes.
presumably.
Yes.
No, I want to draw this out. How long are we staying here? No. How long are we going to argue about what we're doing? No.
Unlike the Thursday game, where they like jump into every situation as soon as it presents itself, we take our fucking time.
Hey, I was trying to mention modes of transport to get us off the damn ship.
Yeah.
But you exit the Studious Vanguard and find yourself on a very clean silver space dock that is very well maintained. You can see automated cleaning systems, a variety of different robots that are designed to keep the place well maintained, maneuvering about now that your ship has landed, cleaning off the amount of space dust that your ship might have tracked into the dock, and beginning to clean your ship as well. But the space dock, there's an exit to your ship's particular dock that is just directly north of you, and if you follow it out, it leads to a massive promenade that connects all of the various different docks to the main body of the Edifice of Repose, which, as you look around, is a giant monastery. Like, this is asceticism writ large.
Big slabs of granite, that sort of thing.
Well, it's like neo steel, like it's very high quality metal, but there's not a whole lot of decoration that isn't like traditionally made. Like the construction of this place is high quality and advanced, but what they've done with it since has mostly been keep it clean and build very simple structures on top of it. It's
Brutalism.
sort of, yeah.
Oh, I love brutalism.
Is there any sign of a shipwright or engineering firm? One that might deal in starships?
We should get paid first.
Roll me investigation real quick.
I mean, we
Works,
can look for places to get our ship upgraded while we also go get paid.
That's 10.
10's enough. So there's this fun historical fact about monasteries, both traditionally Eastern and traditionally Western, is that most monasteries, aside from the fact that they are places of religious and sometimes martial study, they also usually have something that they produce as just sort of, oftentimes it's just kind of a hobby for the monks there. As it turns out, working on ships is one of the hobbies of the Edifice of Repose, which, giant water planet, there's not a lot else to do.
So yeah, I thought you were going to say we're situated by the water and often attacked by Vikings, both of which are true in this case as well. So
I don't think the Vikings got that far east.
no, there were monasteries in the west that they also raided.
Yeah, but I was referring to eastern and western monasteries.
No, in the west they were raided by
yes.
different pirates, or in the east they were raided by different pirates.
The furthest east the Vikings traveled was the Middle East.
Makes sense.
And it did overlap with the rise of the samurai in Japan, but they probably have not fought.
Outside of For Honor, anyway.
Yeah.
Or they did, and no one survived to tell the tale.
I figure at this point, Cardon will take the lead on like leading people places, since he lived here for a long time. 140 years.
That's insane. What do you do for 140 years?
Train.
This, and I stand up on one finger.
Okay, no, that's pretty good.
Let's see how long I hold it.
Considering you only have
12.
Considering you only have 3, it's particularly impressive.
And you're able to hold. You're used to this. You're able to hold yourself up for a good while before your
Yeah, 'cause I
fingers
mean-
get mildly exhausted.
I can do it, but I'm still 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Those are load-bearing fingers. Good lord.
Yes, that's how he unloads on his enemies.
I don't smack Duroc. Yes, you
That's
train,
fine.
and among other things, pick up skills here and there. Forget some.
Let us see about finding Captain Vorak for a due payment.
Lead the way, Cardon.
Did I see the general direction that the ship that we escorted in landed?
Yeah, and it's not hard. It's not hard to navigate the docks. They're designed to be relatively simple to move around.
Yeah.
And so you find your way to the Patient Wills spaceport, and you can, as you enter, you see that the Kardosh. Yes, that is the race name, not the person.
Just say the word and I'll change his name.
We're gonna start referring to you as Car.
But yeah, the Kardosh on board are unloading various supplies and medicines on hover platforms that they're just sort of pushing across. And Captain Vorak sort of turns to see the group of you.
I feel like Kardosh should take up the Rogadin, the Seawolf or the Hellsguard Rogadin naming convention. So that you should have Kardosh that are named things like Walking Mountain and Bubbling Creek.
No, they might, but not in basic. In
basic is like
Kardosh, maybe
you just translate it out. Yeah.
We were just about to see the captain. He was right there.
And then he walked away.
Bursting star.
He's like, I'm not waiting for this.
Anyway, he walks up to you.
I'm Captain Crashing Meteor.
No,
He
he's not.
headbutts Duroc in the face.
That was me, not Duroc.
I hold him there and say, do it again.
Look, I'm just trying to come up with a solution so you don't have Kardosh's name Cardon, okay?
You just call him Droya.
Carlos. Droya.
That's
That's his last name.
Yeah. call him Droya from now on.
Seems a little bit impersonal, doesn't it?
Look, you motherfucker.
Jesus.
It's me telling you how to address me. Call me Droya.
It's good because we can go with Big D. I like it.
I was going to
that's
make that
Dunkel-
joke, but I resisted.
That's Dunkelzahn. You can't take his handle.
That dragon does not exist here.
Sidetracks within sidetracks, eh?
Dunkel's
There's only
Yes.
one Big D in this universe, and we're looking at it.
Dunkelzahn exists everywhere.
No, if Dunkelzahn existed here, he would be Magnus's chew toy.
Look,
So, Captain, about our payment.
Indeed. I've got your 5,000 credits ready for you. I've also got a special item for you.
just in the background, Herschel and Duroc are like tracing things on a wall.
He hands you a cred stick with 5,000 credits on it. He also signals over to another member of his crew who walks over with a bundle of cloth that he just hands over to you, Cardon.
This isn't a baby, is it? And I
No.
open it.
It's a coat.
It's a coat?
Yeah.
Okay. For someone at the monastery, for us, or
It's for you. It's part of your
Oh.
reward. It appears to be like the equivalent of like a captain's coat, like very long, sort of deep brown duster, sort of like Mal's coat from Firefly.
You tried to say Star Fox and Firefly. You
Yeah, I
started
tried to say Stardust and Firefly.
you started at
I remember-
Starfly.
I remember seeing this on the show Starfly. Favorite character was Firefox.
I hear it is quite the browser of books.
God. Anyway, yeah, like that, very much that sort of like long brown duster, that sort of Firefly
Okay.
duster.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Its enchantment should prove useful to people operating a ship like yours.
Oh, it's enchanted. Duroc appears.
Do you think he saw how many times we missed?
I appreciate the gift.
This coat gives you advantage on all shots fired from your ship.
And you're
Lets
not
you
that
reroll
far off.
ones.
But only
You,
snarky shots.
Do you identify it immediately, Duroc?
I mean, I'm not going to take it out of his hands. I'm going to wait till
Let
last.
me hang on 1 second. Let me. I probably can't tell how desperate you are to identify the magic item right now, unless it's super obvious.
Not particularly desperate. It's not that he's desperate so much as it is it's something interesting.
Curious?
Yeah, he's curious. So it's like he heard the word enchantment and is like, "Oh, what? Pardon?"
While you figure out the technicals, I'll pass it backwards for you to identify if you so please, and then
I will.
listen to the captain if they had more to talk about.
I will step off to one side and spend 10 minutes identifying this coat.
You have been given a Starfarer's jacket.
Ooh. Constellations and stuff on the inside? That's very neat.
Just swap the green out for like a dusty red brown, and you've got the right image.
Wonderful.
Super cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Flying speed. Oh.
Ooh.
I'm Superman in space.
Double your proficiency with subsystems.
If you're already proficient with the subsystem in question. Otherwise, it just gives you proficiency in every subsystem.
Right.
Interesting.
And Misty Step to jump around the ship. Oh, that's super cool. I like that a lot.
That is pretty dope.
Gives you proficiency in starship subsystems, you say? all of which, or most of which, use intelligence, correct?
Yes,
So
they
it
do.
doubles his proficiency
Hmm.
in shooting, which, we could use.
Yes, it gives you proficiency and also doubles it if you already had it. So
Yeah, I'm saying that
one of the two people
his-
that don't have proficiency could use it to get proficiency, and one of the two people that have proficiency could use it to get double proficiency.
or the person who missed all his shots last game can use it to hit his shots
I mean,
next game.
potentially.
Yeah, it would go from a +1 to a +4.
Yeah.
Uh,
Whereas if
I'll ask just to be sure if this was a gift to Cardon or to the crew as a whole. Like,
I
is
mean,
it sized?
It's
But-
sized for a Kardosh, but it's a magic
Okay.
item, so it can
All right.
obviously be adjusted.
Yeah.
Like
You'll have to
he
let me
presented
look
it to
at that
you
later.
as the person who came up to talk, but like it can be passed around. It's not exactly like this is for you and will be offended if you hand it off.
I'll let Derek carry it for now. Until he's done identifying it.
Like a
and then he can
fucking
tell me
tent
what it
on
does.
Dirac.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tune to it because I'm already full up on things.
But you've been given your payment.
Oh wait, hang on. Do these robes require attunement? I forget.
The trickster's robes? No.
Does the blade?
I was gonna say, what do you have that's requiring attunement?
See, I don't ever.
boots-
I don't ever actually.
The boots of Elvenkind don't require it.
I keep forgetting to actually put whether or not a thing I have in my inventory requires attunement. I think the spider staff requires attunement.
Spiderstaff does, Yortheimer does. I
Attunement.
believe the Acheron rapier might.
Hmm.
I think only my boots and Veer thing require attunement.
What are your boots? The boots of striding and springing?
Correct.
Those
Yeah,
are good
Acheron
boots.
blade requires attunement, so it's the rapier, the spider, the staff, and
Ah.
Yortheimer. Though I haven't used the rapier at all. But we can determine who gets it later, just because.
Yeah.
Right now in the middle of the scene.
Yeah. I thank you for the assistance. If you require any aid from back home on Morak, feel free to reach out to us at any time.
And if you are ever in need, feel free to reach out to me or us as well.
You have our card.
We have cards.
We have a
course we have a
comm
card.
system.
I feel like Herschel's put his skills to use and made several different made business cards for Rama from Vathi.
Absolutely have.
He takes
Yeah.
one.
Work
They're
shopping.
lost.
Yeah, he takes a business card. I will keep you in mind.
That's all we can ever ask. We appreciate it.
Particularly skilled at killing Draglots, if that ever becomes relevant.
Good to know. Kind of blinks for a second. In any event, I should see to the distribution of these supplies. Feel free to look around if there's anything of interest to you. These monks are practiced in many arts, both martial and practical, but they are also particularly good shipwrights. Is in fact part of why we owed them this debt of gratitude for repairing one of our ships and seeing it home.
Yes, and I feel we shall need to make use of their services.
Definitely.
Yes, it has been some time since I've been home, but I'm sure there's still some folks around here we can meet up with. Safe travels to you as well.
He nods and heads off into the main body of the monastery.
After he heads off, I hold the coat up. So this would make anyone who wears it and attunes to it immune to the vacuum of space, give them the ability to maneuver on their own while outside the ship, as well as proficiency with all space vehicles and all the subsystems therein. Which, considering our current slight undertraining with the subsystems of the ship, might be useful on a number of people. I look around at the others here. Are Cardon actually vulnerable? Or sorry, are Kardosh actually vulnerable to the vacuum of space, or no?
Yeah,
They are.
like
Okay.
they're hardy and can resist the temperature blast, but they have no means of holding their breath for that long. So
Okay.
Yeah, out of the adventuring party, I believe it's me and Cardon that have spacesuits.
Yeah, I don't have a spacesuit.
I don't
Let
need
me
one.
Oh, that's right.
let me check something real quick.
I don't have a spacesuit, and the captain doesn't need one.
Oh,
Yes,
William.
and especially since
Oh no, I do have a
I can-
spacesuit. I do have a spacesuit. It's right here.
yes, Sam.
Do I? Is this something that I could maybe like glean some? Is this the enchant? It's more of a magical enchantment than like a technological thing. Then
Yes.
okay, I won't rip it apart at the seam then and try and see what makes it tick.
It is an uncommon item, though. You could theoretically make it one of the items you could reproduce.
Is it uncommon? I clicked away from the
Yeah,
thing.
it's uncommon.
Is it? Oh, shoot! Yeah, I'd love to make some copies of that.
Yes, if you so choose, with your create an uncommon magic item infusion, you can indeed create additional Starfarer's jackets.
When do you get the ability to create uncommon magic items?
I have the ability to create uncommon magic items.
You do already.
Mm-hmm. Just got to swap them out on level up. Currently, I am all tied up with the cloak of the manta ray.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, 6 levels where
I'll
you get access to the uncommon ones. Oh,
I'll
no, you
put it
do.
on for now, but let's see, because yeah, I won't attune to it yet, so
Still a dope looking coat.
yeah.
So, did you want to go see your old pals? Should we take a look around? Or do you want to
I
go hit the docks and
wouldn't.
maybe get someone working on the ship first?
If you all wanted to look on the docks or among other things, visit, I would recommend at least touring a bit. It is very pleasant here. But
William, real
there's
quick, why
a
do
few
we
Hmm?
who's Zalga and Sharal Shatterskull?
They were the siblings of Corda Shatterskull, the people that you met on Severinus.
Okay. Okay. Right. Sorry, I just noticed the handouts and I was like, who are these people?
there are a few mavens I could check in with and see if there's any news
That sounds
they
fun.
might
Let's
want
do
us to
that.
share.
I will catch up with you. I would visit the shipwrights first to make sure that our esteemed frigate is up and running sooner rather than later.
Would I know where one would be, or the nearest one that, if I know what they're looking for? What Mark 7's looking for new subsystems or just upgrades?
Just the shipwright in general.
Oh, okay.
I want to get repairs sorted out first, and then we'll see about if they can expand our capacity.
Okay.
What? Oh, that's right. We have to have more capacity, don't we? Integrity
Yep.
points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're
Okay.
currently full up on integrity.
The
What is
nearest
the
That's
shipwright.
something no one's ever said about us before.
Sorry, two people were asking questions at once.
Yeah, what's the ballpark price on subsystems? Like 1,000 or 10,000?
Honestly, the subsystems are if you can pay the price of your ship having enough integrity, that's included in the price of getting that level of integrity on your ship.
Okay.
As far as weapons, it varies. Some weapons will have a price of 0, which is to say they're assumed to be general purpose weapons that anyone who has a weapon subsystem can own. Some of them will have a gold cost, usually in the thousand, like the number of thousands of gold range.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, for instance, an Orcish coal bar is 5,000 gold. Or an Alluran Star Driver is 1,000 gold.
Cool.
I was just curious if I knew where the nearest shipwright might be that I could point Mark 7 to.
Absolutely.
And tell them that you're a friend of mine. I don't know if that'll help or not, but they'll know that you know me. So
Yep.
It should help, maybe.
Never
Oh.
been thrown out of a shipwright before.
I'll go with Mach 7.
Very well. Let us be off.
Have fun.
I'll
See
head
you
in
back
that
at the ship.
And I will head in that direction.
I will go with Mark 7.
So what do monks do for fun anyway?
Drugs. No. As we walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends. I liked fighting. Still do.
Sure.
But there's other things. I did a lot of reading. Don't remember most of it, but I did a lot of it. Yeah. And I'll go over the last 120 years that that I spent on this planet.
Cardon, while you're walking around and just sort of taking in the sights and explaining your history here, roll me a perception check.
Nothing escapes my gaze with a 13.
Eagle eye.
We have inspiration, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will use mine because I have one marked. 22.
So as you're walking around, and just sort of taking in the sights, there's something that stands out to you as weird because you get an immediate sense of deja vu from not from 100 years ago, but like a couple months ago.
Okay.
Because as you're looking around, you spot a long head of like bright red hair tied up in braids with like metal jewelry attached to the most ripped half-orc you've ever seen. And you realize that Corda Shatterskull is here on Invara.
You spoke her name and summoned her.
That's
What?
Corda. And he gestures with his chin. weren't
Oh,
they just on
yeah.
Severinus?
How did they? That's nowhere near here, right?
They didn't have spacefaring technology, correct?
It's about
Yeah,
a
no,
week in FTL.
we were the only ship, I thought. And then, how much time did we spend on Aloran?
You spent about 2 weeks getting to Aloran. You spent like a day or two there. Then you spent uh, 20 days
yeah.
getting to Morak, and then another 9 getting to Invara.
So it's been like almost a month or a little
okay, so
over.
It's
it's
been a
not
little
like
over a month.
Yeah, a little
it's
over.
not like they Scooby Doo doored over here. Okay, reasonable.
They might have had something. I mean,
I mean, they had the remains of a
there's
ship.
an easy way to fix this. I don't know why I'm overthinking this. I walk over to Corda.
And you walk over, she's sort of taking in the sights, and she turns around and sees you. Ah, the heroes of our homeworld. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Welcome to Envara. What brought you out this way, both figuratively and literally? Because I thought we had the only ship.
You did. A short time after you left, ships hailing from the Core Adventurers League arrived to bring Severinus back into the galactic stage. A lot of us are still adjusting to everything beyond the veil, she says, looking up at the sky.
It is a lot.
But
I get it. Oh yeah.
but it's good to know that we're not alone anymore. And this world was recommended as a place I might enjoy seeing, and that I might be able to learn from and share some of my knowledge with. It apparently seems that monastic arts and martial training are a universal constant.
This is the planet that I learned. The edifice is quite the monastery.
It's a beautiful planet. I've never seen so much water.
It does take a bit of getting used to, but hell, it will put you right to sleep at night.
I can imagine.
Is it? Did you just arrive here, or
A few days ago, yes. I haven't been able to get much sleep myself, just not being used to no longer being on the same planet anymore after having been there my entire life, and not thinking there was much beyond the veil to see.
that's fair? Uh, if you speak to one of the mavens in a yellow robe, they generally have some sort of apothecary skills. They might be able to help you.
I appreciate that. I might have to take them up on that.
And as I say that, I remember that I don't have my robes visible, so I change my shift weave into the light blue robes that I would wear when I was here. Still under the jacket though. Uh, we just arrived escorting a ship and giving Herschel a bit of a tour. Welcome to join or continue on your ways. You wish.
I could walk with you for a bit if you like.
And
Yeah.
continue the tour and pick up.
Zalga and
I'll
Sharal.
restart the story.
Zalga and Sharal are still back home. I don't think they're going to believe any of this until I can get them into space.
Here,
Wait.
pose in front of the sign real quick. I'll take a picture.
She does. She'd like very happily stand in front of a sign and just flexes. And again, the most ripped half orc you've ever seen. Like this woman's biceps are probably as big as your head.
I, I take a picture with my space iPad, and I'll have to figure out how to print this or send it to you somehow. What do you have a Galnet address?
we've been acclimating to the technology. Fortunately, it's not too dissimilar from what the Empire had running. But yes, she can get you Galnet profile codes to send information to her.
Nice. And I'll shoot it off. So what were you saying about the slop on the that they served you? Was it actual slop? Or did it just look bad?
Looks horrible, tastes amazing.
Gosh, what is it? Mostly seaweed? I don't know.
I didn't ask. After, sometimes you just stick fork or shovel or yeah, shovel. There are some quite large animals on here.
William, how long have we been in space since the start of this campaign?
Over a month. I just mentioned
Yeah.
you started on Gilgamesh. You went like a couple days to
Call it
Severinus.
60 days probably.
Yeah.
I know. I realized that Duroc hasn't had time to get a haircut or shave, so I'm updating his mini.
Also, never heard him go to the bathroom, so.
There are no bathrooms in space.
There's bathrooms on the Vanguard. They're just
How would you-
soundproofed. That's why you don't hear anyone go.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Except Cardon.
No soundproofing can stop that.
Yeah, but it just sounds like somebody building a brick wall, so it sounds like a mason just building a brick wall.
Anyways.
Why they call it a brick shithouse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. But while that conversation is happening and Cardon is giving the tour to both not just Herschel, not just one but two natives of Severinus. The rest of you, which is to say Duroc and Mark 7.
All the rest of two of you.
I imagine Lyra's wandering about on her own because,
Surely Wrenches has a say in what you do to the ship.
But
Or at least
Mark 7 and
Mark 7
and Duroc head to find a shipwright.
Yeah, so we need to get repairs done. Do you have any idea how much it would cost to get or what we would need to do in order to get a spellcasting extension installed?
Doubtless it will require considerable funds, but Wrenches would be able to tell you more. I am inclined to believe that it would require an extension of our hull integrity.
Yes, well, should we get Wrenches before we go talk to a shipwright, since I would assume she would have more knowledge of the inner workings of the vessel than, not to be rude to you.
I get on my internal comms and call Wrenches.
Wrenches comes out to meet you and will join you in heading to a shipwright.
This one looks good. Knock, knock, knock.
So you enter the monastery shipwright. There is one. It's easy to find.
Like I said, this one looks good.
As you enter, you're greeted by a dwarven woman with sort of like long bright orange hair that is tied back into a very well kept braid, working with she has like a variety of different tool belts attached to her outfit, wearing like a welder's mask just put up onto the top of her head, just present, and she looks up at the group of you entering. Welcome to the Environ Monastery Shipwright. What can I help you with?
We have recently arrived. Our ship is in need of upgrades and repair.
Well, repair is a service that we do for charity here. We'll get your ship back to functionality and running as good as need be. For upgrades, we will require the coin for materials
Understandable.
or sufficient trade.
In particular, we are in need of an arcane enhancement.
We can. I'll need to see your ship. And Wrenches sort of steps up and pulls out a hollow projector and just slaps it down. That pulls up the entire schematic of the ship and its current specifications. All right, let me look at this. And she sort of picks it up, goes over it. You're nearing the capacity on your ship's integrity, but we can probably squeeze another system out of it. We'll probably... The amount of materials we'll need will be roughly, in currency or trade, about 10,000 credits. 10,000 gold credits.
What would you take in trade?
Items of sufficient artifice or magical capacity, things that we can use to build other devices. Anything that would be considered markedly valuable, honestly.
Could I get a sense, being the one that has identified every one of our magic items, could I get an idea as to if I could make up that difference with any of the items that we are currently have but aren't necessarily using or can't necessarily use to full capacity?
Well, the items that you have... I need to sign back into D&D Beyond because I had to clear my cache recently.
Ignoring Veerthing and
I would assume you don't intend to sell any of the armory,
yeah,
yes.
no. Ignoring the priceless artifacts of my people.
Didn't you just say you don't ever touch your rapier?
I did. That was one of the ones I'm thinking about. Though that could also go to Lyra if, because Lyra uses rapiers.
No, then okay.
But like I'm the one that has identified all of the magic items that we've acquired, so I figured I would have the ability to go, okay, well, let's make some value judgments. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, there would probably be an amount of haggling involved, but as far as the items that you've got that you either don't or can't use super effectively, the Acheron blade would, if you can make a solid argument for it, could probably prop up about 5,000 gold on its own. Let's see, what other magic items do you have?
Got the spider staff, the Acheron blade. I've got these robes that I'm wearing, which are really good and don't require attunement, but pricing everything. I've got, let's see.
I have braces of marksmanship and the long shot sniper rifle.
Yeah. I've also got these prism glasses,
Which are common magic items.
Yeah, I know.
Long shot could probably pay for the entire thing and then some, but that'd be a hell of a trade.
Yeah. I might hold on to long shot for now.
Let's see. Other things that we've got are
Gauntlets of Ogre Power.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the stuff that Cardon has is uncommon, except for Beer Thing.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. Got all my terrible magic items I made myself.
Yeah, the Acheron blade is probably the most expensive magic item you have that isn't legendary or part of the armory.
Yeah.
And can probably cover about half the price on its own.
Okay. Meanwhile, as far as credits go, is there perchance anything that you might need tasks done or trade of work or experience?
I that'd be a question to ask one of the higher mavens, but if you get a task done and they agree that it's worth knocking off some of the price, we're happy to acknowledge that.
I also have it probably isn't worth anything. I also have a cleansing stone, Heward's handy spice pouch, and an illuminator's tattoo.
All three of which are common magic items.
So, maybe they don't get a lot of spices out here. At which point, the Heward's handy spice pouch could pay for the whole thing.
Well, they did just get food and medicine supplies brought in.
See?
So
A bag of infinite spices? Come on.
you would imagine the food supplies probably include spices.
Yeah, I know, but you can
Quit
knock that
trying
off
to
your
sell
order.
the fish water.
I'm just also adding my own money here because I've got 2,600 gold credits to myself.
I have just over 2,800 golds, 1,000 silver, and 11,000 copper.
So between the
Standard
actually, so
credits.
if we can sell the Acheron blade between the two of us, that's enough.
Yeah.
Well, don't necessarily like to part with this because it is something of a bit of an immense value. But I will pull out the rapier. This is a fairly potent weapon, particularly against certain types of individuals. May or may not be useful for someone here. I will detail the abilities of the Acheron blade to the best of my ability, which is to say perfectly.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check just to see how well you manage to sell the item.
Persuasion, you said?
Yes.
Cool. 16.
Not bad.
Not bad.
So I could probably knock off about call it 6,000 gold off the price of the requirements for the trade of that weapon.
Look over at Mark 7. So 2,000 each then.
Yes, we can cover the rest through good credits.
So I will sell the rapier and 4,000 credits. Oh look, I have a free attunement slot.
You provide the payment. She nods. All right, we'll have our shipwrights get to work on expanding your ship's capacity and opening up what space is left. We'll probably need about a week to get all the retrofitting done, so stay here for a while.
Certainly. I get the sense that we'll be looking for additional work here while we're waiting anyways. I'll look over at Wrenches. Do you need us to acquire anything additionally to assist, or is this the part where you take over and we simply meet back up in a week?
Yeah, I'm gonna be overseeing the retrofits and making sure everything's going up to my standards. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a week.
Very well.
Understood. Knowing Reaches as I do, not going to question it.
Just gonna go take this rapier off my character model now.
And I'm assuming that you would just like to do. So basically, you'll be able to increase your frigate's integrity to the max capacity, which is going to be 200. That's the most you can pull out of a frigate-sized ship.
All right.
And I'm assuming that you just want to go ahead and load in a spell lamp subsystem.
Yep, that works for me.
Yes.
Is there any space left in the integrity? Or are we full up again?
You would be full up
I-
again.
Yeah, it would cost 40 to install the spell app.
Okay.
From there, if you want to get anything new, you got to get a bigger ship.
I was looking at fighters.
That's a smaller ship.
Well, an additional fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wanted to store a fighter in the cargo bay.
Yeah. Could be neat.
All right. Well, that will at least make my ability to cast spells a bit more useful.
Meanwhile, Cardon, as you're walking around and sort of showing Herschel and Corda about the place, you hear a voice that calls your name. As this voice is familiar and at once strange because you haven't heard them speak to you all that much, but it's hard to mistake the sort of unnatural lilt this person's voice has, as they are undead. As you hear a feminine voice call out, Cardondroya, it's been a long time.
I turn around.
And you find yourself face to face with the Grand Maven of the edifice, who is simply known as Madame Olivia. The undead question mark? Like, she definitely isn't a living creature, but she's not like most undead you've ever seen. She's very perfectly preserved, just kind of alabaster skin tone with the, like, unnatural red eyes that a human, which is what she looks to be the corpse of, shouldn't have, and long raven black hair.
Madam Olivia, it's good to be back. See, you're as spry as ever.
Yes, well, in my position, if I wasn't, there'd be a problem.
Just a bit.
Which is conveniently part of why we have brought the gentleman that you have so kindly escorted to us, is to ensure that my condition is remaining stable.
It's good to hear. Yes, we'd heard that these this caravan
Dead
was headed
reader.
to, yes, headed to Umbara and wanted to ensure whatever supplies were on the way here reached you safely. Didn't find out until recently about the VIP guest on their ship. But I look around, how crowded is it besides us three and the Maven, the Grand Maven?
The monastery's never been super packed for people, but there's a decent number of people present. Like, it's probably at a relatively average population density, which means for the edifice itself, probably a few hundred individuals.
Okay. I'll kind of quiet a little bit and are you feeling well? Is everything all right?
There's a unique thing that happens when you mix two different forms of undeath. They don't always get along, and it's complicated. And so we've brought the dead reader here to ensure that I am remaining stable.
That does sound like it could be quite the problem if left unchecked.
And she kind of looks across the other two. You needn't fear anything from me, but, I suppose it's not entirely common knowledge, but I am unnatural on 2 counts, one might say. Afflicted both with vampirism and with the Necros virus.
That does sound complicated.
Lady Olivia Voldaren, I see.
No, actually. This is a character that I've had for a long time. She's originally, like, in most settings, she's a blood hunter.
Isn't Olivia Voldaren a redhead?
Yeah, this woman has raven hair. In most of my settings, she's a blood hunter who is the like iconic representative of the vampire blood hunter order that I wrote.
I'm just saying. Vampire undead lady, leader of a group of individuals named Olivia.
Because every vampire named Olivia is Olivia Voldaren automatically.
I mean, there are only so many vampires named Olivia.
At least 2 separate ones.
And it's also Olivia Parker from the Vampire Diaries.
I haven't thought about the Vampire Diaries in a long time.
Jeremy's watching through it. It's the only reason why I've thought about it. I didn't realize there was anybody named Olivia in it.
Although in her case, she's a witch, but still.
See, not a vampire.
But anyway.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you might require to help abate whatever is inflicting or interfering?
I think that will depend on the analysis of that man right there, she says, looking over your shoulder.
Turn around and shoot him. I'm just kidding.
He was sneaking up on you. It's self-defense.
Yeah, you. I'm assuming you turn around to look.
Yeah. I do turn around. I do not shoot him.
Hand on your gun, though, right?
No, I left the gun back at on the ship.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you look over, and you see an individual approaching in a very unique outfit. He is humanoid in shape, although appears to be extraordinarily pale. Yet you don't think that he is quite undead himself, at least not in the you wouldn't immediately call him undead, just like never sees the sun.
Especially voluntary sunlight deficiency, not just always pallid.
Especially because there are certain tics that he has that a living thing has that a dead thing doesn't. Like, you can see that he breathes. At least you're pretty certain he does. But he is dressed in a long, flowing black trench coat. Very sort of Victorian era long coat. With metallic greaves on top of what would be dress pants, with this sort of metal breastplate over top of a dress shirt, with like the neck frills that would normally like hang out of like a Victorian era collar, just draping over the front of this like high like metal steel breastplate.
You're literally just describing a Warhammer Inquisitor right now.
Not quite. The left arm, he has a glove on it that ends in a series of syringes on each finger. And the right arm is just kind of enclosed in like a very ornate leather glove with sort of like black leather glove with gold trimmings.
A power
Uh,
fist.
It's leather,
It's also got syringes.
and that's the left hand has the syringes.
Oh, sorry.
Right hand is just leather glove.
Mm.
He wears like a cloak of the mantle is made of some kind of stitched material, but there's like a series of like crow feathers jutting out of the shoulder, the epaulets of the mantle. It has a hood, but the hood is down, and he is wearing the tallest, like Dr. Facilier top hat with the skull like directly on the front of it.
Okay. Sorry, you're describing a fucking Inquisitor from Warhammer Fantasy.
No, not really.
Wearing black with metal armor and coat does not immediately make Inquisitor, just like the name Olivia and Vampire does not make Olivia Voldaren.
Also, ever since I saw the name The Dead Reader, are they played by Tony Shalhoub
I don't know who that is.
from Monk? You ever watch Monk?
I have not watched
Or,
it.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
It's a good cast. I think it fits.
And he has sort of like this very long, similarly to Olivia's raven black hair that just sort of rests down about mid shoulder, like right between his shoulder blades.
Mm.
And these completely opaque black circular lens glasses that are pushed up directly in front of his eyes.
Is he walking this way?
Yes, he is literally walking towards Olivia.
Notice he walked this way.
I'm going to step aside for the very impressively dressed character walking this way.
No, the specific character design was if you mash Harlequin from Unreal Tournament with the crow.
The crow.
Yeah, he.
I'll step aside if the Grand Maven wants to step forward.
Yeah, the Grand Maven steps forward to meet him as he approaches. And he very much walks with this overconfident swagger that very much that sort of hips forward, chest back, the hand with the syringes just kind of up off to the side, fingers up, right hand on the hip kind of stance.
Doing that weird Volo walk. Mm. Ugh.
But as he approaches, Madam Olivia, it's been a very long time, but you still look like you're holding up all right. I wonder what the nanomachines say. And the Madam Olivia sort of looks at him and just, Jaster, it's good to see you. Been a while.
Say
He-
Jaster with a J?
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks across the group of you.
The two of them.
Yeah, the three of you,
Celebrate.
actually. Because Cord is there. I hear from my transporters that you're part of the crew that is responsible for my safe passage. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Happy you could make it safely to help Madam here.
Jastor Perkins, at your service.
I'll bow slightly and then hand him our card.
He takes it.
I don't bow and I say, Cardon Droya, member of, points at the card.
The Rabba from Vathi.
Ugh.
Interesting name. And adventurers for hire. Good to know. In any event, we should take a look at you, Madame Olivia. Shall we go somewhere private? And she nods, and the two of them turn and begin to walk away.
How long have we been walking?
Probably about 30 minutes.
Okay. Do you want to keep walking around? Do you want to see how far or how much they might have gotten done back at the ship yet?
We can. I suppose we should mosey our way on back. Is there somewhere I could find a? Oh no, it was. Well, all right, never mind. I need something like spirits of something that lives in water for my cloak of the manta ray crafting.
There are absolutely no creatures that hold spirits on this planet of water. Let's head back to the ship.
Yeah. Making those cards was probably the smartest thing I've done in these past couple weeks on the ship. I still cannot pronounce our name. It's very handy just to hand it over and make the other person say it out loud.
Saves a lot of trouble.
It's so great.
Uh,
Here, you want a couple? And I'll give him a couple.
yeah. I'll stick them in a various pouch that's on my belt. You're welcome to join us, I'm sure. It's time for some sort of meal back at the ship.
Yeah, there
Corda,
must be
if you
something-
want.
some lunch place on the dock. We can sit and talk about what's going on with the ship and hang out.
Or we can lead you to your own
I'd
devices.
I'd be happy to spend time with those who saved my planet. I'm glad to hang out, as it were.
All right, then back to the ship. We go a different way.
Mm.
Take a different path back to the ship
How
and start
big
up
of a
new stories.
how big of a monastery is this? Like number of monks, like tens of thousands or
Hundreds. That's it. There's
Okay.
only like this monastery numbers like several hundred.
Okay.
But yeah, for your edification, the two reference characters I mentioned as being a mashup was that guy and that guy.
Ah, yeah.
I have the feeling like the picture of the crow is just going, see, John, different. I know it's not, but that's just the first thing that popped into my head. That was pretty funny.
My friend group referred to that guy, the Harlequin, as a odd job.
The odd job of Unreal Tournament,
Yeah.
just because of the hat.
Well, I mean, come on. It wasn't because of anything. Yeah. In the same way that I refer to Slash as the odd job of guitars.
Anyone with a top hat is odd job, apparently.
I mean, maybe. You know who I'm talking about when I say the odd job of presidents. So is there like a noodle shop or something?
Oh yeah, right this way.
And for any of you who have played recent fighting games, he comports himself like this guy.
I don't know who they are, but their friends have lots of teeth. And they
That-
don't love me? Wow, rough.
That's Happy Chaos from Guilty Gear Strive. But anyway, you get some lunch.
Yeah.
I'll
Well, I
dip
was-
my roots in the water. I'm not going to eat your noodles.
All right. That was for us then. I see. I'll ping over the communicator that if they are done with the shipwright, that we're at this noodle stand, and they can meet us, and I'll give directions. Since there's only one shipwright, right?
Yeah, there's only the one ship, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give directions on how to find it from there if they
Mhm.
want to join. We found Corda.
Oh, well, we'll meet you over there in a few minutes then. I have no idea
It's
how to
not
get
that I-
there. I say to Mark 7.
He literally sent you turn by turn directions.
Oh, did he?
So,
Oh, I said, this is where we're at, not give us directions.
I've already processed the directions. With my powerful robot.
So yeah. You make your way there, and everyone meets up for lunch, including Lyra, who makes her way out and finds you guys.
Cool. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
presumably
sent her the
these
message,
repairs to
too.
our ship are going to be
Yes.
quite extensive. Do we have to find accommodation somewhere else, or?
I mean, the ship wasn't that badly damaged.
Well, no, but they're retrofitting a whole how many bulkheads in?
Well, upgrading the integrity of the ship and implementing a new subsystem, but I don't know if that will necessitate ripping apart the bedrooms.
Yes, the crew deck suffered minimal damage compared to the primary deck.
That said, it will be very loud for the next week, Lyra says.
Indeed. Perhaps there are guest accommodations. Count on.
Cardon, you know that yes, there is always room for guests. They
Yeah,
are
I
not
figured.
they are not shy about it.
Yeah, there's definitely bunks we could stay in while they work on the ship if that would be the preference. We need only ask.
Well, that's something to do.
Then, like, who would we ask, Cardon?
We just
Literally
need to head to
anyone.
yeah, we just need to head to the edifice and ask anybody there.
Oh, all right then. We can do that.
It's
I assume
Uh,
you didn't discover any new tasks or requests or jobs for us to do.
that would actually be pending. We ran into the individual that was on the patient will that was sent to assess the madam here, and she may contact us regarding if she needs any help.
Well, then, I guess we'll be put on hold for a week or so.
How are you spelling gear?
This is the way you spell gear.
GEAR.
I mean, okay, because Richard Gere spells it differently.
Well, yes,
all.
that's because it's a name, not a gear.
Oh, and what is this?
Uh,
That's me being a shit.
That would be Cardon spelling gear incorrectly.
I don't know what common. This is how you spell it in Kardash.
Ah,
Yes, that's the name of the game that I was referencing. Yes.
They do have quite the repository here, Durak. Many scrolls and books and parchments if you'd want to look over during the week while we're here. I'm sure there's at least one thing you could learn if I could. Yourself as well, Mark 7. Actually, all of you could stand to learn something here.
I don't know if you're insinuating that we're stupid or that there's valuable knowledge here.
Yes.
How many fingers am I holding
Hey.
up, Cardon?
those are thumbs.
Enough to count.
Right.
The answer is just one.
No, I'm holding up a number of fingers. I just need Cardon to count them.
I see 2, but you have more.
Gestures aside, it may be that there may be a perspective or repository on precursor technology. I had thought to use this week downtime to examine the cache of data in my memory banks.
Yes, no.
I can show you a nice meditation spot to do that at.
Comedy aside, yes, I would like to take a look through the records that they have available. If such a thing is possible.
We're fairly open with information, housing, and just everything in general. But common courtesy, don't abuse that.
Are there any forbidden books?
Would I know about those if there are?
I mean, you know
Because
they
that-
exist, but you don't know how to find them. So presumably the librarians do a good job if a book isn't supposed to be read.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Don't
yes,
know.
there is one. It is called The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
No, I have that one. A cop busting the door. Yes, it's just that any information I'm looking for might well be classified as forbidden. Well, I'll see what I can find in the public, and then
If it is, they won't tell you.
I imagine.
So-
hence the forbidden nature of it. Yes.
Like I said, I did. Well, you weren't there. I did do quite a bit of reading here.
Did you?
Yes, I've also forgotten quite a bit of reading that I've done here. So there is plenty of materials to go over. I don't quite remember where or how many forbidden books there are because they didn't tell me.
So it's
so-
less not remembering and more never knowing in the first place, really.
Little both, yes. I may have asked early when I got here, but no. What's the answer? Almost every time.
Understood. Well then, shall we get going?
Yes, right this way. And I'll lead us to the edifice check-in area.
We need rooms and a library pass, please.
Yeah. So you approach the edifice, the primary building of it, and you simply ask for respite and rest for a week while your ship is undergoing repairs and retrofitting, and they're happy to provide you with rooms. And when you ask for access to the archives, they indicate you the direction of the archives and say that there will be monks on hand to assist with information retrieval if you need it.
They will kill you if you touch the wrong book. No. That's why they're really there.
They'll tell you that the book you're looking for is, well, they'll tell you that the section you're heading into is restricted and you're not allowed. And if you still try and go in, then they kill you.
Interesting.
Let's any of the other mavens well, I guess let the rest of the mavens know that I'm here and back as well if they need anything.
Yeah. It's good to know that you're back. Well, for those
Or
of us
good.
who still have the length of memory to remember when you were here.
Yes. Yeah, there are quite a few new faces.
Oh, the elf who is the maven you're speaking to right now,
Yeah.
just kind of shrugs. I mean, you can't exactly blame the short-lived races. It's not their fault.
It's not. But it's always a shock to leave for an extended time and then realize how long you've actually been gone. But other
I can safely say I know the feeling.
All the people I know and love are eternally locked in time, unable to age and unable to move, so maybe the reverse?
well, they're like us.
Yes.
Well, I don't want it to sound macabre, but we'll fix that, I guess. We'll work on it.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah.
I think literally everyone here knows some variation of that feeling except for Herschel and Corda.
Well, all Herschel's friends are dead.
All Herschel's friends are trees.
Oh, no, all
Yeah.
Herschel's friends are squirrels, and one of them's in his branches.
You don't know that. You have no clue, no concrete information one way or the other.
I don't know, I suspect. So yes, I would like to study in the library, looking for information.
So you have essentially a week of downtime ahead of you to take any downtime actions that might be interesting to you. And we can cover any particular actions that might need role playing done.
We're on a water planet.
You are.
I need a magical thing to craft this cloak of the manta ray.
You do.
I'd like to find a magical thing to cloak this manta ray. That's what I'd like to do this week.
Excellent.
I have two things I'd like to do this week.
Okay.
One, study in the library. Two, discover if any of the books that are in the restricted sections may or may not contain information that will be pertinent to kingdoms frozen in time and the unlocking therein / precursor technology relating to the Armory of Dol. And if so, use my unseen servant to try and sneak some of those books out to a place where I can read them.
That is a hell of a Dewey Decimal. Very specific.
I want both of you to roll me investigation checks.
I am very good at this. It's a 26.
Just seeing if there's anything that I have that assists in that. Not at the moment.
I've started just, telling the dice how good I am at things, and, it seems to be
22.
working.
You're not able to find anything that specific. You're also not able to find out what's in the restricted section. But you are able to get a good amount of research in on like the general history that is known of precursors, the a good list of like known precursor sites where relevant technology has influenced local cultures, the like insight on different disasters that have been caused in relation to precursor technology. Particularly, one that comes up is the fall of Skull, which was a precursor. Some call it a disaster, some call it a revolution, but it ended up with a subspecies of humanity being born
Some
because
call it a comeback,
something
but we were here the whole time.
because like something about precursor technology on the planet of Skull um caused a weird reaction with lycanthropy and created the shifter species.
Ooh.
So yeah, I would if I'm able to find anything, I would try to use my to use an unseen servant. Well, first I would ritual cast unseen servant, and like from whatever room I'm staying in, because it's an hour, it lasts an hour, and I would see if when I go into the library, if the unseen servant was detected at all.
Um, as you enter the library, you look around and you can see that there are various monks, sort of positioned in different locations. Some of them just sort of standing watch. Some of them just doing their own research. But there are several monks that you notice who have a tattoo of of a third eye on their foreheads.
Mm-hmm.
And each of those, including the ones that guard the restricted section, appear to be perfectly cognizant of the presence of your unseen servant.
Cool. I use it to fetch me books from the not restricted area, just to make it look like it was. That's the reason it was here the whole time. Um, good to know. Yeah. So I will also use augury from my book. Every time I learn of a new precursor site that I was unfamiliar with, I will basically, not every time, but like once a day, I will go, would we have any success in what would it be a good idea to look for artifacts from the Armory of Dol at this precursor site and see what I get for like basically each one. I want to see if I can get an idea as to like I'm going to start with areas that are near where we're going next and then sort of spread out from there and see if I can get a sense for if there's any sort of localization or pattern to where they might be or where the book would say they might be.
You don't know what to make of it, but every time you ask if looking for precursor artifacts or specifically the Armory of Dol or anything like that near one of these sites is going to be fruitful, you always get wheel every time, no matter which one you choose.
So at a certain point, then I would ask, would it be good for us to look for artifacts from the Armory of Dol at any precursor site?
You get wheel.
Interesting. I'm going to look up and see. After learning that, I'm going to see if I can determine, sort of narrow down my research, and see if I can, track down any reports of events of translocation between precursor sites, like objects that were at one going to another, or people that were at one ending up at another.
With that 22 research, um, you discover an event known as the 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 scattering of Shira, which was an event in which um, a precursor hub site discovered on the planet of Shira within the Majocracy. Um, Something activated, and the entire planet was scattered across the entire galaxy. They are still finding pieces of Shira around precursor worlds.
So at some point during that week, when I have the ability to grab somebody else's attention, probably Mark 7.
Who
So
has
I've.
also
Oh, great.
who has also been spending the past few days or so searching the shelves for anything on precursor computing systems, if they have them.
What you get is mostly a basic rundown of like analysis of precursor machines and computers that have been discovered. It's not super detailed because precursor code is not something that's super widely understood outside of gnomish tech.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a few details, nothing all that enlightening though, as far as like the actual coding.
All right.
So Mark
Uh,
7.
What is it, Derek?
I believe I've discovered why the artifacts of my people were so randomly on a planet that none of us had ever been to before. It seems that there's some sort of ability that connects certain precursor technological sites. And it seems that at any given precursor site, we have the opportunity to stumble upon some aspect of these artifacts. There was an event that happened, a recorded event of a. Excuse me. Of a world with precursor technology and it's being scattered across the galaxy due to an event. Bits and pieces of it teleported, each of them to areas nearby in random precursor sites and worlds, to the point at which they're still finding pieces of it. It would seem to me that there is a possibility that if there was any additional precursor technology in the vault, well, basically what that would tell me is that there is indeed potential for precursor technology designed to scatter out objects in a specified location in the event of an emergency. And if there was additional precursor technology I was unaware of in the Dolian Vault, it could have possibly activated during the emergency and scattered the armory throughout the galaxy, which means there's a teleportation system in place.
Intriguing. I was not aware that this had been documented.
It's not. One of them had been documented, but the rest of it's sort of conjecture that I'm crafting out of my own investigations and what information I've been able to discover.
So you believe it's all that this teleportation event might still be happening,
Well,
or already has, and
I think it already has. I think it already has, and that the teleportation is still active, and so anyone not only could we discover an artifact at any one precursor location, any one precursor location could lead us to a second or third precursor location that would then help us discover said artifacts. If they're all interconnected, or at least some amount of them are.
see. I admit I am not entirely certain what to make of this. It appears a bit beyond my understanding.
Mostly it just means that theoretically, if we could find out any precursor ruin, we could potentially discover a way of, or method of, transporting between them. Using the precursor ruins as a sort of a teleportation network.
This is definitely something to look into when we arrive at the site near Zareth.
Yes, if such a thing does exist, it would be beneficial both to us and to our cause and to the rest of the galaxy to know of it, because it means that if somebody with more nefarious means were to acquire access to it, they could potentially have an inroad into many planets that they otherwise wouldn't have access to easily.
True, knowledge needs to be preserved, but cared for by the right people. Perhaps it's best if we find such a site and determine how to activate its network. It
Well,
might be best to keep it under wraps, at least initially.
yes, I'd agree. We're going to Zareth next, so when we get there, we can take a look. What the job for at Zareth? Was it looking for missing researchers?
No, it was specifically that they found a planet near Zareth that had precursor tech on it, and the defenses are live, so they lost their first research team. So they want adventurers to clear it out.
Right. Oh, if the defense is alive, then perhaps there's someone there, or at least more intact information.
Indeed. We cannot rule out anything.
So,
Until we know more, at least, which we will have to do on site.
yes, but it's good to know at least for looking out.
Perhaps the research team might be able to aid us in uncovering this network if it exists at the site we are due
Yes.
to clear out.
First, we got to get there, though.
Yes, I am told that Riches is very exacting in her work.
Well, I'd rather exacting than lax, at least as it regards to what keeps us safe from dying at the hands of the void outside.
True, that is more of a concern to you than it is to myself.
Fair.
That is a joke.
And scene.
Okay.
Yep, pretty much.
So,
How does Herschel's fish finding go?
yes.
I'll give him a hand
Nice.
when I'm
With-
not.
With a 26, you learn that this planet is host to a variety of different creatures whose essence could potentially be of use for the Cloak of the Manta Ray.
Mhm.
There are literal giant manta rays that can be found. There are a variety of native aquatic species. Let me pull up my list of aquatic creatures that would be applicable here.
While you do that, I'm going to grab a drink because I need some caffeine.
This place we're docked on, is it floating or is it like the peak of a mountain? coming out
It
of the water?
floats. Yeah, it's a floating platform.
Okay.
But yeah,
Our hover car. Is that? You think that could hover in water, or is that
it could hover
It-
above water. It couldn't. It probably couldn't submerge itself.
right? No, but like I wouldn't have to hire a fishing charter to go find a thing.
You,
I mean-
you don't want to go too deep.
If you're not worried about getting lost, then maybe.
That's true.
There's always a bigger fish.
I cast summon bigger fish.
No, I mean if we drove the
Oh.
car out into the middle of the ocean.
Oh, and just get eaten. Well, we're not trying to swim through the core, so we might be okay.
But yeah, you could probably find a variety of different creatures here. There are records of dragon turtles, giant octopus, small kraken.
Sick. I would probably lean towards the manta ray, but I don't know if they're migratory or whatever, you know.
Giant manta ray, some signs of plesiosaurs,
Ooh.
sharks, starks, anything in between.
Yeah, I mean, if I had my choice, I'd lean towards something that wasn't going to swallow me entirely whole in one bite.
Problem is, things that have like that kind of essence are usually that
Yeah,
styling.
that giant style. All right. Well, I'd go for the least. I probably wouldn't go for a turtle. 'Cause I don't think I could crack a turtle. Like a big manta ray. I think I could take a big manta ray. Plus, there's a lot of manta ray leather there. You know. I assume it's got. I mean, just the nastiest, gnarliest seaweed hanging off the bottom of this thing. So that's got to be a thriving ecosystem underneath the raft here.
Oh, almost certainly.
So I would hope that I could maybe talk to some fishermen or maybe with Cardon about well, that fish attracts that big fish, and then food chain wise, something bigger hangs around, something with the essence I need.
Maybe a hand. If not finding it, pulling it up out of the water,
Yeah,
making
yeah.
sure it doesn't pull you down.
Oh yeah. I will.
You float, right?
Probably. I've
Or do
never
you just
actually
like
tried.
swell and then sink?
Well, I'm not actually certain. Is there a shallow end we could test this?
At some point during the week, I'm sure there's a kiddie pool we could probably dunk you in to see if you float
bet-
or sink.
Oh, you know what? I've got that spacesuit. I bet I could, become neutrally buoyant, like use it as a diver's suit.
Probably you can use your seal quality on your armor.
I'm going to sometime during the week I'm going to take my alchemy jug off active and put my active infusion back on my returning weapon. Because I'm pretty sure that a spear is traditional as far as hunting sea creatures goes.
One of the best
Yes,
things for it.
spears are one of the weapons that don't get disadvantage to fighting underwater.
Magic's one of the other ones, but
You need breath for that.
Yeah, my big cantrip for magic is a firebolt. So
Hey, that can be pretty big.
Yeah, but fire spells underwater do half
Yeah.
damage.
yeah, so garbage.
I don't know. I mean, if you boil the water around something, it probably hurts.
I am not a oh gosh, what are they called? Those shrimp that can punch really hard and it
Mantis
cavitates
shrimp?
the water.
Don't
Thank
you
you.
have-
Yeah,
Yes.
mantis.
Don't you have heat metal?
I'm gonna fight a fish. They're not made of
The
metal.
tip of your spear is. Well, no, you have a wooden spear. You have an
I
entirely
have a
wooden
wood
spear.
spear.
If you put a metal tip on your spear, it could be. Heat metal on your
Mm.
spear, boil the water around them, stab them with a boiling water spear.
That seems like so much hassle.
You kill them and cook them at the same time. It's
Well,
efficiency.
I'm not looking to cook. I'm looking
We
to
don't need-
harvest.
We don't need a weapon like that in every campaign. Where you can kill and cook something immediately. I think that's
That's what burning hands is for.
But with your fishing trip set in place and preparing to go and journey onto it, that's where we'll go ahead and end for the week.
Cool.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Buddy.
Goodbye.